here is your account update. It's official. As you very well know, we on this program are capable of speaking French fluently and beautifully. Indeed, should we elect to do so, we could conduct the entire broadcast in glorious Gaelic tones, but we simply choose not to. We would be well within our rights, of course, because, as you further know, Canada has two official languages, English and French. When a thing is branded official, that often means it's not practical. To wit, if you have to point something out and appeal to its officialdom, you're already showing that the practice or concept is not reflected in people's day-to-day behavior. It's like saying, technically this or that, as in, technically a tomato is a fruit, not a vegetable. Okay, but it's a vegetable. Or officially, the peanut is not a nut, it is a legume. Okay, now please pass me that dish of nuts. Honestly, who goes to the ballpark and buys a pack of legumes? You feel me? Now, official bilingualism is back in the Canadian news, owing to the rise of the NDP in La Belle Province, and some legislation the Dippers would be delighted to pass pertaining to the Supreme Court. We will discuss both of these with our very own Sun Media national editorial writer, Mark Bonakowski, who has tackled the issues with his characteristic vigor. As Papa Bear points out, StatsCan reports that only 17% of Canadians are bilingual. This seems low for a nation with two ways for saying everything, so let's have a gander at how we got here. In the summer of '69, me and some guys from school had a band, and we tried real hard. Jimmy quit, Jody got married. I should have known we'd never get far. But at the same time, elsewhere in the country, making bilingualism the law was a priority of a man named Trudeau. I mean Pierre, of course, as Justin hadn't even bought his first dance belt at that point. The idea was that by mandating all official communication to be rendered in both French and English, all of Sea Rock would soon be chattering away in uniquely Canadian franglais. Over 40 years later, that has not developed, except for people working at Air Canada or in Ottawa. Those perspicacious viewers who were poised to joke that no one actually works in either of those places, we salute you. As to Air Canada and whether this is practical, if you are flying between, say, Toronto and New York, are you really any safer because the flight attendant yells emergency procedures at you in French? And as to Ottawa, the idea that denizens of the nation's capital could just command the habits of an enormous country is perfectly consistent with the mindset of that government town, then and now. Those of us who maybe have our gaze elsewhere than in Bytown see things differently, with a monsoon of respect. We who do not obsess over every Twitter on the Rideau understand that people make their own choices. It is the position of this program that understanding the languages folks speak is valuable in assessing a person or people. Language is determined by usage, and the way a language develops provides context for the history and character of a culture. This goes for all kinds of languages and culture, not just English or French, and the philosophy behind this theory is the whole thing. But for now, let's just leave it at that. However, as I said, language is determined by usage, which implies a market. That is, people en masse, see how we roll, decide what to say and how to say it. Despite the best efforts of bien-pensants, you cannot command a market from some central authority and simply make things so. Let me give you two other examples of this, one pertaining to language, the other to money. An acquaintance of this program, Captain James Tiberius Kirk himself, William Shatner, was a proponent of this made-up business language called Esperanto. He even made a movie in Esperanto, and it's obviously delightful, but no one on earth understands a word of it. Like I said, Esperanto was supposed to be a business language, which is ironic since business folks should know that you cannot command a market and just make stuff up. There was also some political element to the Esperanto push, with folks who resented that English is actually the international language of business, but let's not get into that. Suffice to say, the Esperanto project didn't work, and I don't even think you can get a Rosetta Stone for the dopey thing. Now, to money. We talk a lot on this program about the value of various currencies, including the weakened US dollar, the greenback, as it is known, has been the reserve currency of the world for quite some time. Every once in a while, you will hear of some leaders or bankers or fund managers meeting and demanding that the world move away from the American dollar into some other currency. That hasn't happened yet, but it may. And if and when it does, it won't be because some group of eggheads demanded it. It will be because millions and billions of people made their own choices, moving the market together. That's how it happens. But back to French, English, and Canada's officialdom. It is what it is. And while you can find competing numbers as to how much this policy costs or benefits the country, we contend there are other, more urgent areas, like taxes, where our new government should make some changes. Even so, as Bono avers, to burden yet more portions of public life, including the Supreme Court, with impractical policy is a bad idea. Whatever official language you would like to speak, we wish you well. If you choose to speak French, God bless you. And remember, the accent aigu goes up in the air, the accent grave goes the other way. And as for the circumflex, it strengthens your entire core and is available only for a limited time. We are a big, welcoming country with 2 official languages and many, many others. This program is proud to be part of such a polyglottal place, and we wish its people the very best in whatever way you choose to hear it.